The European Union has just announced that two large companies, Fiat and Starbucks, have underpaid tax in two EU member states, Luxembourg and the Netherlands. They're going to have to pay back between 20 million and 30 million euros in each case. I'm here with Vanessa Houlder, the FT taxation correspondent. Vanessa, corporate tax isn't something the European Union usually gets involved with. It's a matter for national governments. So what's going on in this case?
Well, you're right. Tax is a sovereign issue. However, Brussels has a lot of power when it comes to what it thinks is illegal state aid. And what it's doing in this case is saying companies have agreed rulings with governments which they think are selective and they think they're beneficial to the companies, and as such they think they're illegal state aid. Now, the governments and the companies dispute very strongly. So this is an issue which we haven't heard the last of. This was likely to run for several years, the court cases relating to this.
I see. So the European Union has used state aid legislation essentially to look into national tax agreements. And what exactly have they found that is unsatisfactory about the deals that these countries struck with Fiat and Starbucks?
It is immensely technical, and in fact we haven't seen the full arguments. But to give you an example, in the case of Starbucks, it thinks there was not enough profit being booked in the Netherlands. It thought it was paying too much for coffee beans from Switzerland, and it also thought it was paying far too big a royalty to a partnership in the UK.
Well, the upshot of all this is that Starbucks and Fiat will have to pay more tax. Is this something that is going to affect a lot of other companies? Are there others who are in a similar situation who may see their tax deals unstitched?
There are a lot of companies which are very, very nervous right now. There are a few, principally Amazon and Apple, which we know are under investigation, but behind them there may be other companies which the Commission decides to take a closer look at. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of potential rulings out there that they might be interested in. So yes, ramifications are very big indeed.
I mean, the OECD and other international organisations have been looking at the whole question about how in the modern world companies can shift profits from one place to another, so therefore making sure that they pay the minimum amount of tax. And it's certainly something in the UK and in other European countries people have got very exercised about. Is this a particular problem that's been created by the EU, and is this one of the reasons why they're taking steps to try and sort it out?
You could argue that the structure of the EU is a root cause of at least part of the problem with multinational tax avoidance. We've got rules that date back to the creation of the EU, all the way back to the Treaty of Rome, which means it's very difficult to put up defences to stop companies from, say, a low-tax country being able to operate in your country.
So the single market actually can exacerbate the problem in making it easy for a company to set up a business in one place and shift profits from another place where it may be doing business.
Indeed, definitely. And so this, while it doesn't address that point, is in a roundabout way Brussels taking action, doing stuff that national governments probably couldn't do.
Well, that's a good thing then, is it not?
For people who think that multinationals are ripping off governments right, left and centre, doing very dodgy deals, this is going to send a very big warning shot to those companies. So you could argue that this is going to be more effective really than an awful lot of other things that national governments are doing. On the other hand, it's creating immense uncertainty, and the companies will feel less confident about making the investments that they are planning to make in Europe if they can't guarantee what the tax treatment will be.
Have we got any clear sort of sense from this ruling as to what principles the EU will apply in deciding where things cross the line and are no longer acceptable and become illegal?
There is very little clarity at this stage, partly because we're pretty sure that this will all be fought out through the courts. So 5 years down the road, we might have a better idea. And in the meantime, companies are just going to look very closely at their rulings and try their best to make sure that they comply with state aid rules.
I see. So this one will run and run.
This
Vanessa,
one will run and run.
thank you very much.